You delivered what you promised to your client. The design is clean. The file has been handed off. And somehow 3 weeks later, you are still getting requests for, oh, just one more thing. If you have ever felt stuck in the loop of clients continually ask for never ending edits as a designer, today's call is for you. My name is Acacia Thornton. I'm the CEO legal coach. And this is, I'm like missing something on my dashboard. This is the Aligned Business Series. This program is designed to give you real client scenarios. These are things that I've actually dealt with my clients over the years, the challenges they face, because everybody faces them at some point in your business, and then what we did to solve them. So you get actual real world solutions here. Again, my name is Acacia Thornton, and I'm the CEO legal coach, longtime attorney and business advisor turned spiritual manifesting business coach. So a lot of things really matter to me when it comes to the contract and how you're doing business with your clients. It's not about winning. It's about raising everybody up together, doing what's aligned for you and your business success. And as always, go ahead and put your questions into the chat. I promise to get to them all at the end. But let's dive into today's topic. And what was that again? How to stop endless revisions on design projects. So I'm just going to dive right into a story of a client. I was working with a brand designer, and she delivered just beautiful work. She's great. She'd been in her business for about 10, 11 years. So really, really successful. And she would then send everything she's created to her client for the final sign off. And the client would start circling back, hey, can I get a revision on this? Or can we explore one more, look at this font? And she's like, sure, of course, 2 revisions are included. But then the client would come back and, oh, by the way, I had this idea for this mock-up. Can we do this to it? Or then, last night I had this amazing dream. I love that one, right? I had this dream and I want to do this now. Can we change this? 3 weeks later, she didn't want to be rude, but the project has to come to an end at some point for her. She's got other business to get to. And she'd only budgeted so much time as well as payment for this particular client. Now, she wants to do a good job. She wants her client to feel like the work is done. So how can she get there? How can we get this, hey, we're done. Let's both be happy and at peace. I've done amazing work for you. You've got an amazing logo here. I think you should be thrilled and proud with the design work we've done on your website or whatever it is you've created for your client. But that's not how we want it to go. We want it to be, hey, it's done, right? You love it. You love it? Great. I love it. This is beautiful. Such a pleasure working with you. Would love it if you left me a review. We want to have a great offboarding. We need to get them off our plate, but we also want the client to feel that they've come for what they came for and they've gotten it. But here's another client story of mine that had a very similar beginning. Things were going great. Everything was good. Sends the final. Client's okay with it. And then silence. So, of course, okay, send the bill. It gets paid. All is good. Silence means done, right? 6 months later, the client comes back. Hey, I'm ready for my first revision now. She's like, no, I thought we were done. You said that what I had sent you was good and that you paid for it and we're done, right? And she's like, no, my contract says I get 2 revisions. I want one of those revisions now. So my client was like, I'm kind of on vacation right now. I'm not really budgeted and set up to do this. And you need it by Saturday. It didn't work. There was another breakdown of what was expected versus what was delivered. So let's take a look for a second. How does this happen? Where does this happen? And it happens in a few different places that I've noticed with the different designers that I've worked with over the years. One is that the designer sometimes just assumes that the client will know when it's done. I've delivered you a beautiful logo. We are done. Or I've delivered you a beautiful logo. You've had 2 revisions. We're done. The contract says 2 revisions. We're done. So that's one that sometimes we just assume that they're going to be in the same energetic space as us. Another thing that I see, and I see this one a lot with my givers, I have some that are really, really giving, is that they intuitively know that the client's not really done. It's like, yeah, only 2 revisions were included, but I can just tell she's not going to be done yet. She's not satisfied yet. And I want her to be satisfied. So I'm going to continue to give until I can get her there, right? Giving more of you, your heart, your mind space, and your energy, your effort, your time to get them to feeling done, even though it is done on paper. We also assume that the client is always going to prioritize it getting done, that they're going to come back and communicate, that they're going to ask for those revisions right up front, and that we also assume that the client actually knows what they're after. How many times we end up with a client that's just indecisive or still figuring things out, and then you're the one left on the hook for getting them past past the finish line. So there's so many different ways that this can break down. And I have seen a lot of my clients come to me like, look, Acacia, I've already got a project start date, a payment plan in there. We've got the scope of work. We've got 2 revisions. Like, I have all the clarity and communication I need. Well, if projects are dragging out and there is no clear definitive end date that you can tell me this is when it ends, this is when it's done, then there's still a lack of clarity for us to grow into. And this is where I teach so many of my design clients that your contract, right? We don't have to get into the legalese stuff, but just some added terms you could add to your scope of use, your scope of work. That area part of your contracts can actually do the heavy lifting for you. And I'm going to tell you 2 of them that would help in these scenarios. And one of them is, I see a question coming in. Yes, I will get to that. That is the idea of when is it done? We have 2 parts here. We have when is it done? And then what do you do when they keep asking for more? So when is it done? When it is done is called an acceptance clause. It clarifies that exact moment in time. We're done. No matter what the client does or doesn't do. No matter what you do or do not do. Doesn't matter if there's ghosting, doesn't matter if there's delays, doesn't matter if they ask for those revisions or not. There's a done moment. And ideally, you'll have that done moment at every milestone. Because I've seen clients come back with like a milestone 3, be like, oh, can we go back to milestone 1 and make some changes? And my client will be like, no, dude, we're on milestone 3. We're not going to go back to milestone 1. But like, we're still mid-project. We can go back and change whatever we want. Another area where these things get left over. So an acceptance clause is going to clearly state when it's done, no matter what. And then the other part about going past the boundaries, this is called scope creep. This is when little things just creep past the scope of what was agreed to, the scope of services, the scope of deliverables, the scope of time, the scope of what's included in the payment. So many different ways that there are scopes that we're defining. And we want to clear where the boundary is and what happens on the other side of the boundary. What if there's a 3rd revision? What if they come back 6 months later? What if? So we look at those by marking, these are all the different things my client has been asking for or could ask for, is likely to ask for, and you clarify them. You absolutely clarify that right there into the contract. I'm going to show you a way that you can get both of those, a scope creep as well as an acceptance clause, that you can just copy paste right into your contract. So I'll show you that in a second. But one of the things that I wanted to just really talk about here is also the communication of that. Because when it's not in your contract, who's left deciding when it happens? You. Who's left having to communicate it? You. Who's left having to enforce it? You. You have to feel like it's time. You have to find the words. You have to, you. Your own boundaries are actually causing you to expel more energy. Where when it's in the contract, where the customer has signed, I agree to this. Everyone's in agreement. And now your only job is to remind the client, this is what we agreed on. Hey, this is your final revision that's included. I want to make sure it includes everything you need. Now that's all you have to do is give them that friendly reminder, that little nudge. So much easier, right? A lot easier than you having to do all the work, all the heavy lifting yourself. Instead, you can be, if they have any questions, something like, this is what's in the contract. This is what we agreed to. It's our agreement. It's the boundaries about how we said we were going to work together and the timelines that we were going to work on. So we're going to get to the Q&As. If you guys want to start getting more of those into the chat, get that in there. I'll look at them in a second. But I wanted to tell you how you can get an actual copy-paste version of both acceptance clauses and scope creep. And the thing about these is that you want them to be customized for your business. And you don't have to go pay somebody to make them customized. You can do that yourself because you know where the boundaries are. You know what you want to be paid for. You know where all these things are. You're the one who has to answer to them anyways, right? So this is why I created the Aligned Clients Paid with Purpose program. Is it literally is a video of different types of stories, real world stories that you see out there, the different ways we wrote those acceptance clauses, and then you're going to get 2 worksheets, one to help you make any decisions that you might want to have help with. You might already know what you want, but if you don't, there it is. And then the second one is just your copy paste. Hey, if this is the way you're feeling about things, copy paste this right into your contract. Just copy paste it right in. No drafting required. No legal, no lawyer necessary. None of that. You can do that yourself. And so there's 3 different modules in there. The first one is acceptance clauses. You're going to get that exact acceptance clause, deciding when done is done. What does that mean for you? What do you want it to mean for your clients? Take the clause you want, put it right in there. And then the second module is scope creep. You're going to see all the different ways about scope creep, but also how to make more money using it. How to make more money. And so that is module 2 in Aligned Clients Paid with Purpose. If you do want to know about module 3, you also get a bonus called Big Wins in there. My clients love that. I feel like I never thought about what a big win means to my business and setting myself up for success. So that is all in there. But let's get over to these questions. I saw a couple come in. Where was that first one? Should I include a revision limit in every package? I would. If there's any way that client might ask for more, even if you don't think they will, if they could, if there's even you remember them, can I go to the bathroom versus may I go to the bathroom? If they even could do it, I recommend putting a limitation. Whatever you feel is right. If it really does take on average 4 revisions to get this type of work done correctly for your clients, then include 4. If it usually only takes 2, then 2. If you don't want to do any, don't do any. Do what feels right to you to do right by what you've promised your clients and include that. But add something, add a timeline. Like we saw, 2 revisions isn't enough if they can come back 6 months later and ask for them. So you want to, hey, you get 2 revisions within 30 days of final delivery, something like that. So that's what I would recommend for that. Next question. How do I stop clients for asking for changes outside the scope without sounding rude? Okay. So we can't really stop our clients from asking. And what's actually beautiful about that is that means your client trusts you. If they're coming to you, that's what you want. You want to be their trusted advisor. You want to be their go-to person. So it's great that they're coming to you. And we don't want to just be like, whatever, I'm not doing that. But if they're asking for things that are not included, just say, hey, happy to work with you. I love working with you. But an additional revision set is going to take about 5 hours of my time plus a couple calls. And I usually bill that at around $250. Do you want to add that on? So it's not saying no. And it's allowing your clients to come to you. But what it is saying is there's a value to that to me. I'm happy to continue giving you value, client, and I love that you're coming to me to get more value. Yes, yes, yes. I want to say yes to that because that can equal dollars, not just right now, as we just saw. Hey, yes, happy to do an add-on package of those things at this bill rate. But also, we want them coming back to us next time they need help with something, 6 months, 6 years, whatever it is. So we want to keep them in the loop of saying yes to me, but that doesn't mean I have to say yes every time they come up. One thing I like to sometimes remind clients is that in the beginning of a project, there must be something crazy going on outside. Can you all hear those sirens? Oh my gosh. Is that when you bill your time up front, you're saying, okay, I expect this to take me about 20 hours. So I'm going to bill that at $100 an hour. That's $2,000. And then suddenly on the back end of it, they ask you for 5 hours of time. And you're like, okay, I'm going to give that for free. The value of your time is the value of your time, beginning, middle, or end of the project. The value of your time is the value of your time. So just because they asked for it later in the project doesn't somehow mean it's worth less. Your time is always worth what it is because that's another client you're not getting to, or that's other things that you're not doing in your business. Yeah, if I didn't put a limit on revisions in the agreement, is it too late to set one now? It kind of depends on where you are, right? To like legally hold them to it, yes. Unless you want to do a full amendment, a formal amendment where everybody signs. To do that, if you haven't done onboarding yet, you could kind of walk through like this is part of that. What I would say is as you go through it now, just try to give little nudges like, hey, at this phase, we try to keep everything within 2 rounds of revisions. So if you don't think that's going to happen, let me know. And then that way you're having an open dialogue and they kind of know where the boundary is, but they can come back and say, hey, that wasn't part of the agreement. I thought I would have unlimited revisions until it's done. In which case you might be like, happy to work with you until a certain point. We kind of on average do 4 revisions. So anything beyond that, happy to continue working with you, but we can add those on at a billable rate of $200 an hour, right? So it's how you handle it. But of course, what's really comes down to anything with clients is managing expectations. And the more clarity you can have in your communication earlier on, the more they feel like they've been informed and able to make informed, educated decisions about working with you. That is what empowers a relationship, and why it's so important to have these types of terms in your contract is that they're right there up front. Everybody has the equal chance to see them. Everyone's going to look at those parts of the contract, even if they don't look at all of it, and then they've signed to agree. So another reason why the Aligned Clients Paid with Purpose program is really big is it's going to do that for you. Can I still charge extras after the client said it was approved but keeps coming back? Oh, they said it was approved? Okay, I would generally always back how is the agreement written. Usually if they say this is approved and you have that in some type of writing, you have the right to take that as approved. But we also do have that kind of idea of back to that client story I told you earlier, where they said it was good. And they're like, but my contract includes 2 revisions. So they still feel like they have 2 revisions in their pocket. So look at the terms of the agreement, see what is there. What can you find to put as the line and create one? If you don't have one, try to do your best to communicate one without being, when it feels harsh to the client is when they don't see it coming. Right? When we hit a wall about anything, we're like, wait a minute, I didn't know that. That's when we get frustrated. But when we have the chance to respond, we feel more heard. And let your clients have that opportunity. Hey, we were under the impression that when you said improved, this was done. Is there a reason that has changed? And hear them out. See what they have to say. And then from there, decide, okay, we're happy to include 2 rounds of revisions to clear up this portion. After that, we're going to, either bill whatever you want to say as is there. That way you're putting, again, a defined scope. It's still not open-ended. Oh, approved, but revisions, approved, but revisions. We can hear them say approved, but this is where my concern is. And now you only need to address that concern. You can let them know you're only open to addressing that concern. Anything beyond that will be billable at your extra rate as listed in your contract. I love it. I love it. All right. I think I've gotten to all the questions, right? Everyone's in there. Woo woo. Okay. Join us tomorrow. We have more. What do we have tomorrow? What is tomorrow's? Oh my gosh. What is tomorrow's call on? Where is it? Because this week is all about, never ending projects. Tomorrow is all about the never ending project. So kind of a similar to today, but we're going to focus more on the never ending part of it as opposed to the constant asks part of it. You guys all have a great one. This has been Acacia, the CEO legal coach and the Aligned Business